Hey, what's up guys? It's Jake aka Tag, and today we're back in action with the very best Goblin Giant deck in the entirety of Clash Royale. This Goblin Giant Sparky deck has a very fast cycle, so you're able to defend your Musketeer and also have a lot of zap bait with the Skeletons, the Sparky, and the Bats. So if your opponent zaps the Sparky to reset it, they will not be able to zap the Bats, and you'll be able to overwhelm them on offense with the Goblin Giant plus Bat Push. So let's go jump straight to some games and assert some dominance with this ridiculously fast cycling Goblin Giant Sparky deck. I'm going to sauce out a good luck here, and we're going to sauce out a zap as well. We're going to see what this guy's got. The T-Rex, man. The dinosaur. Is he going to run a dinosaur deck? Is he going to run an old-fashioned deck? Or is he going to be running some of these new meta fisherman decks that have just been around for not so long? But they feel like they've been around for a century. Either way, he's going to be a dinosaur. So he's going to have Skeletons and he's going to have Furnace. This is most certainly going to be the Royal Giant Lightning Fisherman deck. Yep, very skillful deck, Kappa. It is one of those decks that is very overpowered right now, and we'll see if it gets a fat nerf soon. I hope it does. Anyway, we're going to go for Skeletons, so then the Fisherman preoccupied on that, and then it doesn't get damaged. He might Lightning this, so then he gets damaged with the Fire Spirits on the tower. If he doesn't, it's kind of weird. We're going to go for Goblin Giant because we need to play aggressive, and we'll see if we can get any damage. We're going to go in for Bats, because we know that the Goblin Giant will stay alive for a little bit longer, and then he really has to drop like a Baby Dragon that should die to the Goblin Giant plus the Bats. So it's really good for me. I think our best bet is just Dark Prince here, so then we don't take damage on the tower. I don't want to take a Baby Dragon Belch for no reason, especially when we can bait out a Mega Minion or something he doesn't want to drop anyway. He has to go for a Log and Mega Minion. That's a 5 Elixir investment, so that's really good for me. I could go for another Musketeer here and cycle back to another Goblin Giant because he just dropped 5 Elixir and he doesn't have Mega Minion cycle. I think we should be able to outcycle his Baby Dragon here, so these Bats should be able to get a lot of value. If they only have Baby Dragon, they don't have a Electro Wizard anymore, and you're able to outcycle everything, the Bats are going to be really painful. I don't think he has Elixir, and this should be a game. Yeah, we just completely outplayed him. This is just like cycling a Royal Giant player when you're playing 2.9 Expo, and you outcycle and you break their cycle. Because you drop archers and you kill the Royal Giant with archers, right? And then you're able to outcycle and cycle back to another Expo before they get back to Royal Giant. That's how you beat Royal Giant decks with an Expo player. But I'm just doing it with Bats instead of Expo guys. We're just outcycling and making sure that he didn't have Elixir to the Baby Dragon. So then we were able to win the game. So it's really important to just abuse the fast cycle when you're playing a fast cycle deck. I know that seems really obvious. It's just something that you guys need to pay attention to. What cards will they have issues with if they don't have enough Elixir to deal with? And the number one card in this deck is going to be the Bats. If you're able to go and drop a Goblin Giant and they only have Lightning as a spell, they're going to have a miserable time because they have to rely on the Baby Dragon. If they don't have Baby Dragon in cycle, the game is completely and utterly over. GG, well played, and peace out, T-Rex. We just asserted dominance on him more than a meteor did, man. That game felt pretty good. I love destroying Fisherman decks, especially that dirty Royal Giant deck. It just seems like that thing is unbeatable with so many other decks. We're going to go for Skellies in the back. We're going to see what's up. We're going to see what's good. This guy's going to go in for Goblins in the back. I fully expect this to be an Executioner Hog Rider deck with Earthquake. That's what I think, at least. We'll see. I'm going to go for a Sparky same lane as that very obnoxious Valkyrie so we can shut it down. He's going to rocket it. Okay. So what we can do here is I can go for a Musketeer or I can go for a Goblin Giant Kite. I prefer to go to the Goblin Giant Kite here because it gives me counter push potential, kills the Valkyrie still, and as it's kiting, it's going to be chipping away on the Valkyrie's H points. So it's really good for us. I expect him to go and drop, well, that's a weird play, dropping a Tornado there. You can go for a Dark Prince, and then I think you only have Goblins back in cycle, and this could be really bad for you because okay, you somehow got back to Valkyrie. I didn't expect him to have enough Elixir for that because he just dropped a Log, a Tornado, and a Valkyrie. That's a ton of Elixir, man. It's really weird. Anyway, we're going to go for Bats, and then we're going to go for Skeletons because the Bats drop delay. Make sure that they're staggered more than the Skeletons. I always prefer dropping those first. So then we provide Skeletons some cover, and we were able to finish off the Hog Rider with that. Goblins come down now. So we know he's back to Valkyrie, we know he's back to Tornado, and we know he's back to Log. So he's not back to Hog Rider. We can go for a Sparky here, and if he goes for a Valkyrie, we can just go and kite it to the opposite lane with the Goblin Giant. It would be a really bad play. If he just decides to rocket it, you know, then it's going to be on the tower that he doesn't have any damage on, so I'm fine with it. I don't really want to go in for the same lane every single time when he has the capability of rocketing. So if he's rocketing a new tower, it doesn't really matter. It's just providing me a potential of cycling, and I'm better off doing that. I'm able to correct my card cycle right now. So I'm back in a cycle where we have a Goblin Giant. I can go for Musketeer to kill the Hog Rider, and then it still goes on the left-hand side. He doesn't have Rocket to shut down the Musketeer, so that's really good for me. Unfortunately, he's intelligent, and no, okay, he does the Hog Rider. That's good. So watch this Musketeer. It's going to be able to shoot the Hog, and it's also going to be able to go in the lane that we want. I can go in for a Sparky here, and it should be able to give us a lot of value because I don't think he has enough elixir for the Rocket immediately. Maybe we're able to hit everything. Yep, that's really good. I can go for a Dark Prince. He's probably going to Rocket now, but I'm going to try to push it. Oh, I really tried to push it, guys. I was trying to push it so the Sparky would get one shot. Anyway, we're going to go in for a Goblin Giant, and then we're going to go immediately in for a Musketeer. I expect an Executioner soon. I want to Fireball it as soon as possible just so we get a little bit more damage. I want to propel the Valkyrie further away so then we get a little bit more value as well, and maybe I can go and get some chip damage there. So we went in for a Log. That means that he's probably going to go in for a Hog Rider soon. Let's go in for a Sparky. Let's go in for Skeletons here because he already uses Log, so if he goes in for a Hog Rider, it'll be right into Skellies. And then we can go in for Bats. We want to go in for probably a Zap here. No, I can't. I need to just make sure that we go in for the right-hand side. We need to go for a Fireball. We go for a Zap on offense. Guys, it's coming down to the wire, and we would defeat a Rocket deck. Let's go, man. That was such a crazy close game. And you could actually say that Sparky decks get hard countered completely by Rocket, but in this situation, if you play it correctly, you can still win if they make a couple slip-ups. To be honest, I would never expect to win this matchup, but somehow I did here, and I'm pretty happy to. Go for Bats in the back. We're going to see what's up. We're going to see what this guy's got, and I'm going to go for Skellies as soon as he doesn't cycle anything and we hit 10, so he's going to go in for a Miner, so he's trying to wait for the Bats to go past them. He's like, yo, these Bats are not going to hit my Miner. We protect our Miner here. So we see Miner, we see Fisherman. I fully expect this to be either a Miner Poison deck or a Balloon Cycle deck with a Fisherman. So we're going to go for a Sparky here. Actually, that's amazing. The Dark Prince is getting hits on the tower. Wow. Have you guys seen this before? Like, has anyone ever seen a Lava Hound Fisherman deck? I guess Fisherman is just in everything at this point, but I shouldn't be this surprised, right? Let's go in for a Musketeer here. I can go in for a Zap, so we definitely get a hit. Oh, he's going to Zap as well. Well played, dude. He's like, not today, Jake. But since he did that, we can probably protect with Skeletons and a Dark Prince and then go for Bats to eliminate his Inferno Dragon. So while he did do that to our Sparky, he's going to face the ramifications of not being able to pull off any type of impressive offense because he hinders his potential as he cycles the Zap, right? There's really no way that he can kill the Skeletons. There's no way that he can kill the Bats. And that's one of the things that I love with this deck. Not only does it have a very fast cycle, but it has cards that are meaningfully able to interact if your opponent doesn't have a Zap or a Snowball and cycle. So the Skeletons are able to protect your Musketeer. The Bats are able to combine with the Goblin Giant or with a pretty nice offense. So I like both of them. We're just going to go for a Sparky in the back because we're going to try to ramp up a push. And if I drop it at the river or anywhere defending against the Fisherman, it just seems stupid. I don't really want to do a play that makes me spend my elixir before I'm at full right now. I'm not ready to commit to something really aggressively for no reason. So I don't want to go for Bats because it gives him Zap potential right now. We're going to wait for the Zap early on. If I go for Bats now, we're going to separate from the Sparky. He's going to go in for Barbarian, so that's a 5 elixir commitment. And we can go for a Musketeer. We can go and save enough elixir for a Dark Prince here because I assume he's going to go for a Miner. And as long as he does that, we're chilling because then I can go for Skeleton so the Baby Dragon locks onto that. We keep our Musketeer alive and then we counter push with our Goblin Giant, and I think that we can go in for a Fireball on top of the Barbarians. This guy's got Fisherman. He's also got... Wow, he missed the Fireball. He's got Barbarians as well. So it's a pretty peculiar deck, but I know that the Musketeer, as long as it's going to stay alive, we should win. And I should be able to just Fireball the Barbarians that he has to drop on that. 23 seconds remaining. No, he's just going to forfeit the tower. So he's going to try to go for balls to the walls offense play here. I have to go for Musketeer to finish that off. And I want to go in for a Sparky on offense because I think that he has to keep playing aggressive right now. Nope, he might have just given up. He's like 10 seconds left. Nope, he hasn't given up. He's like, I will keep my dignity, sir. You will not 3-crown me. But, in fact, I will if I get one more Dark Prince hit or the Fireball. Oh, my gosh. If I had, like, done the closest possible Fireball tile, maybe it would have 3-crowned him. Whatever, man. Hindsight is 20/20. All that matters is that juicy W. So we're going to start off this game with Skeletons in the back, and we're going to see what our opponent has before we make a big play. So we see Skeletons from himself. Man, I can't go in for a Musketeer because we don't know if he's got Balloon. And I can't go in for a Goblin Giant because if we end up seeing a Sparky deck, we're probably going to have a bad time. So, alright. He's not going to have Sparky because he's got a Log. Usually they don't have Log with it. They're going to have Snowball and they're also going to end up having like Zap. So, If he has Expo, if I cycle either of these in the back, I lose. If he has Sparky and I cycle my own Goblin Giant right into his Sparky, we're in a bad spot. So we're just having to wait a little bit. He's probably going to have Triple Spell Giant now, as we see a whole bunch of cards that are indicative of that. I'm going to go for a Fireball, assume he's going to have 3 Musketeers with double spell now. So I'm going to go and cycle my Sparky in the same lane as his 2 Musketeers that he cycles in the back. Hopefully he does that soon. Okay, he's just going to drop 1 Musketeer. This might be Expo. This might be Expo Collector instead of 3 Musketeers. That's probably what it's going to be. So I can go for a Goblin Giant right in front. I can save the Sparky. Usually we want to pair the Sparky with a Goblin Giant, but in this situation we're fine. We're going to be able to kill his Musketeer as well. He's going to go in for another Collector though. I think we have to go for a Dark Prince here, just to make sure that we're able to get a little bit more value from this Muskie. We need to be able to kill that Tesla. It's not really going to happen. We're not going to get any damage on the tower, so we're just going to have to chill a little bit, and we're going to have to go for a Zap right on top of his Collector to make sure that he doesn't get as much efficient elixir from that. So we're going to go in for Skeletons in the middle, and we're just going to cycle those passively. And we're going to go for a Musketeer, same lane as the Ice Golem, so he can't set up a huge push there. So if he goes in for an Expo, we can go in for a Goblin Giant and shut down. I can't Fireball the Musketeer because then he gets a free Collector. He's already trying to cycle back to another. Yup. Very well played on his end, and he'll be able to defend this easily. So he is able to outcycle our Fireballs, and as a result, he should get a pretty substantial Elixir advantage, and then he should be able to set up an Expo after. Yep, there it is. So if that Expo connects to the Sparky, we're in a bad spot, so we can't have that happen. So I'm going to try to go for Skellies here as well, just to make sure that we keep that alive a little bit longer. And then, because we eradicate the Musketeer and the Skeletons, we're actually doing really well now. We still have the Sparky alive too, guys. So he's going to have to snowball, so I don't want to go in for Bats. Bats would just die anyway. So he's going to drop Skeletons. That was really good for me. I'm not even going to lie, that was phenomenal. So we can go for another Sparky in front of this, since he doesn't have a big spell like Fireball. Traditional 2.9 would be able to Fireball this. That'd be horrible for me. He's just going to log, and then the Sparky should still get a shot off on top of the Muskie. And then because he doesn't have anything besides Snowball, we can go in for a Dark Prince in front. So we just want a slow roll here. We don't want to play too aggressive. Because if I use a Fireball on top of that Musketeer, he goes in for a Collector, and then I can't punish it at all. So it'd be a really bad play. So we can go in for our own Musketeer here. He's going to go for a Defensive Expo. That's a good play on his end. I think we're going to go in for a Sparky and just roll up the aggression here with the Dark Prince because he's probably going to go for Skeletons. I don't want to go for a pre-log. It just doesn't make sense. If Sparky gets a hit, then we're chilling. Hey, that's really good for me. I don't want to Fireball that. I still don't want to Fireball that. It doesn't seem worth it. Even though it could give us some chip damage, we could lose the game off of it. I want to get one more Sparky shot, or maybe a little bit more value with it. Maybe he has an Ice Golem protecting the Musketeer next time. We can definitely go for a Muskie to snipe this Tesla. Maybe the Bats get on top of the tower. Oh my gosh, the Bats. That's amazing. Now I can start the Fireball cycle. That's enough. And then his Muskie should get hit by ours. Yes, we can go for Dark Prince in front because we're going to keep it alive. And now he's 2 Fireballs and 1 Zap away. So maybe we cycle the Zap now. Okay, he dropped a Ice Golem. That's definitely worth it because if the Musketeer gets a hit... Oh, I was hoping that that Zap would give us a hit. So he's just going to go in. I think we're fine here. We can go in for a Musketeer out of range of the Tesla, so that's great. He can't kill that. And because the tower is not targeting it, we're fine. The Tesla tower is not targeting the Musketeer. And also, his Expo wasn't targeting it. So the Musketeer was definitely going to finish off the Expo. So it was really good placement. If you guys didn't know that, that's why you use Musketeer in 2.6 against any type of Expo deck, and you're just going to win the matchup because of the Musketeer's range. GG, well played, and peace out, Girl Scout. It's a pleasure playing against you and asserting dominance. If you use that Musketeer tip in any deck that has Musketeer, you're going to find that the matchups that were really difficult for you before because you were incorrectly placing your Musketeer will be very, very easy. So we walk with a fat W there. I didn't know anyone used anything but Dark Mode. Yeah, I got to use it. Oh my gosh, dude. He just golemed at the river. I don't have my Sparky. Am I going to lose right now? Oh my gosh. I hate this. I am so scared. I wish I had Fisherman. I wish I had Tornado. I wish I had Sparky in cycle. He's going in blazing hot with the Night Witch. We have to go in for Skeletons and Bats. Oh my gosh. Has this ever happened to you? Where a Golem at the river is actually doing damage because of your bad card cycle? This is incredible. We have to Fireball that back, eliminate the Bats. And if I had Zap then the Bats just accumulate the Night Witch still goes towards my tower and I don't kill the Golemite, so I lose the game. I might be losing to someone that started off the game with Golem at the river as their starting play. Let's just let that sink into your head for a second, guys. That's kind of unbelievable to me. I'm going to try to bounce back here, but that was a really obnoxious play, brother. I'm going to give him the well played because he got like 1,400 damage. He's just omniscient. He knows exactly what our card order is. He knew that we didn't have Sparky in cycle, and he took advantage of it. And he just got so much damage. This guy's a literal legend. Nothing short of a god. He ascends divinity, actually. I can't even tell you, like, what he is. It's unfathomable what he is. I can't even classify him. Man. So, I think I have to go in for Musketeer to finish off the bats here and the Night Witch. I think it's going to be our best bet. So then the Sparky doesn't die. Okay. Alright. Sparky's going to give us some value. Are we going to take out your right-hand tower? Maybe we can get the Musketeer to get the targeting from the tower. No, the Sparky's still going to get another hit, though. That was a really clutch zap. So are we going to be able to 3-crown the dude that goes in for the Golem at the river at the starting play, man? So the way I think about it, the #1 big brain play, starting Golem in the back, right? And double elixir, as soon as double elixir starts. Then, the second evolution of big brain plays is starting Golem in the back as the first starting play. Then the third level that this guy has evolved to, the very first play of the game, Golem at the river. He actually just made a pretty good play. Sparky Tornado the opposite side. I really wasn't able to use that effectively anymore. I should have thought about that, but then I realized that I didn't care because I'm going to 3-crown him because he made that play. So, GG, well played and peace out, Girl Scout. Very interesting composition, very interesting plays, and I don't know, man. Maybe this guy, we'll see him in CRL because he's able to predict my card cycle like that. No other pro player could ever do that, so I think this is the only person that could. We're going to go for Skellies in the back, and this guy's going to have Bats in the back. All right, dude. So when we see Bats in the back, we're expecting him to either have the same deck as us or Lava Clone. Those are the two decks that are very common. But we see Spear Goblins, so maybe a change of plans, guys. You could have Sparky or it could have Mortar Bait now. And it's looking like Mortar Bait after we see the Rascals. We definitely want to go in for a Sparky in the same lane as the Thick Boy. We could eliminate the Thick Boy and then go in for a Goblin Giant and then get a decent counter push here. If it goes in for a Mortar, we could probably go in for a Goblin Giant to tank for it. And that would be really good, because then we're tanking for the Mortar, and then we're also giving us some decent damage on the left. His Rascals are out of cycle, so I expect him to have to drop Spear Goblins or something. We could just go in for Skeletons here, go in for a Zap on top of those Bats, and then the Spear Goblins are still tanking for the Sparky, so then he has to go in for Goblin Gang, he has to go in for Bats, he has to drop a lot of Elixir guys. So we can go in for Bats to finish off the Mortar without a second connection. I could have also dropped it on the left-hand side. It's okay. I'd rather go same lane as him, so that's kind of a better play in my opinion. We're going to go in for a Dark Prince here, so then we don't go same lane, because then he would have been able to get away with Rascals, and then I wouldn't have been able to snipe it with the Musketeer, right? So if the Rascals were dropped here to block, then I couldn't have sniped it with the Muskie, and that's why I dropped it in that position. That's why I decided I want to go in for the Dark Prince opposite side. So we bait out the Rascals, we easily deal with them with just Skeletons, and then we're still able to kill the Mortar. So... So everything worked out just about as well as I could have happened. So let's go in for a Goblin Giant here. And I could go in for Bats to support it. I think that's not the worst play in the world. Especially if he's going to force out a small spell here. He's going to have to snowball it. Oh my gosh, he missed the snowball. Dude, he's going to have nightmares of Bats now. He's going to wake up and he's going to be like, never do I want to see that ever again. Bat's just going to be glaring him right in the face whenever he wakes up. Nightmares for the rest of his life. I feel kind of bad. I wonder if he locked into dropping the card. Like if you snowball and you're at 0 elixir, and then it forces you to drop the snowball as soon as you get at 2 elixir. Has that ever happened to you guys? I think that might have happened for him. So that's the only glitch or thing that I think could have happened if you lock in. So like let's say right now I'm trying to spam cards, right? I'm going to go and drop a Musketeer, and then I'm trying to spam this Goblin Giant. Sometimes the Goblin Giant is just going to drop as soon as I'm hitting 10 elixir. Like right there, when it was at 5 out of 6, it was loading in. Like it was forcibly going to be dropped as early as possible because of how many times I spammed it. And sometimes you do that a little bit too early, and you're like, oh no, I'm trying to spam it there because I need the snowball to happen immediately, but then it's locked in later, and then the snowball drops way later than it needs to be. And then he just completely misses everything, and that's what I think happened there. All right, so we got a game against Spencer. We're going to sauce out of good luck, and we're going to see what's up. Let's go in for Skellies in the back just to cycle passively, and we'll see what Spencer responds with. He's going to go in for an Ice Wizard, so let's go for Musketeer same lane. And we still have the Goblin Giant to kite anything in the opposite lane if he bridge spams us, so we're fine. You could also have Royal Giant. Yep. I was going to say, he might Royal Giant opposite lane of the Musketeer. I said, you know, we still had Sparky, so we were fine. That's what I was about to say, at least. And I totally anticipated the Royal Giant. I didn't anticipate it into the Musketeer, though. It seems like it wasn't the best decision. What he was trying to do, he was trying to propel it closer to the Ice Wizard, so then the Ice Wizard would finish it off. But man, we're doing so well here. I love how the Goblin Giant just makes a huge parade push, and Sparky destroys any tank deck. So as you guys just saw, if someone has the audacity to go in for a Royal Giant, any type of tank deck, right into your Sparky, you get amazing counter push and you automatically win the game. So I can't advocate for this deck enough when you're playing against any type of tank deck. You'll get free, easy, and fast wins. GG, well played, and peace out, Girl Scout. That was the easiest 3 crown of my life.